Hello everybody, I hope all is going well. Today I have a special video and I'm going to be talking about Moses' humility and humility in general. The act of being humble, how important it is and how it relates to Passover. So before Passover starts, we're commanded to remove all the chametz from our house. Make sure we get rid of all of it, even in our cars, our driveways, our garbage cans. We have to get rid of all the chametz. But we're also commanded to remove the chametz within ourselves. What does that mean, remove the chametz in ourselves? No, it doesn't mean that if you ate bread a couple weeks ago to try and remove that bread in your body. No. It means spiritually you have to remove the spiritual chametz, which is also known as pride and ego, and we're commanded to remove that from ourselves as well. So to give you a better example of this, why chametz is related to pride and ego, I'll give you an example. You have a piece of matzah and a piece of bread that weigh the exact same weight. You put the piece of matzah in the oven and it stays the same size, but you put the piece of bread which weighs the same weight, the only difference is it has yeast, and then 20 minutes later it's so big and inflamed, and not inflamed, it's like blown up, okay? But it weighs the same amount as that matzah, but it presents itself as much bigger because of the yeast. So just like yeast, our egos make us appear much bigger than we really are, make us think we're much larger than we really are, and it's just fake. It has no substance. It is all an illusion. So just like we're to remove our chametz from our house, we have to remove our pride and ego from ourselves. Pride and ego are detrimental things that, well, obviously pride in its right time, you have to have Jewish pride, you have to be proud of who you are, but when you have too much pride and too much ego, it leads to being easily offended, and it leads to many problems, and it actually blurs reality. So now Moses was more humble than any man that ever lived. The Torah says this, and not only that, but Moses was one of the smartest men to ever live, and he was the highest of prophets. God said he's the only person that saw God face to face. Obviously, he didn't see the face of God, but he spoke to God in a manner that nobody else was able to do. Moses spoke to God while being awake, whereas many of the other prophets only spoke to God while in a dream or through angels of God. But Moses was able to reach a level of consciousness higher than any other person. Even the Messiah, if I'm not mistaken, it says will be right under Moses in terms of prophecy. Obviously, it will be a time of more revelation, but in comparison. But Moses, through all his incredible qualities of being his intelligence, his strength, his knowledge, his connection to God, his ability to connect, to receive godliness, through all these amazing qualities, his greatest quality, the one that he is praised for the most by God, is his humility, his ability to be humble. And that's honestly something that when I learned this, I was very impressed by this. I was very comforted by this. The thought that, wow, the greatest prophet of all time is also by far the most humble person. So yes, he was able to reach such high levels. But regardless of that, he still remained humble. He still did not see himself in such a high manner. And as the Torah says, different commentaries say that he was realistic. He knew how great he was. Part of being humble is knowing that when you're the person for the job, you need to do it. God wants him to do it, and he did it. It wasn't that he said, no, I'm nothing, I can't do this. No, he was humble. He was very humble, but he knew that when he needed to do something, that it was his duty to do something. Knowing that when God said, you have to take the people out of Egypt, he realized and he accepted. He said, "Look, God is greater than I am. He's the ultimate. He's saying I need to do something, so I have to do it." That's also humility. And his greatest quality was that he knew how great he was. He knew how talented he was in his mind and his mental capacity. But he would always say, "Look, this was a gift that was given from God. My intelligence, my capacity. But if anyone else had my talents, they would be better than I am." He always used to tell himself and everyone that, yes, I have all these gifts, but if you had these gifts, you'd be even greater. And that's what we could learn from the parsha. Not from the parsha, from the holiday and the parshas that describe this holiday to remove the chametz. So have that in mind, how great humility is. And I thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great day.